Alright, hello everybody. Hope everybody's having a good night tonight. I want to say go to YouTubeMileBuilders.com. There you can check schedules for all the shows. Tuesday and Wednesday shows are at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And of course the Thursday night Johnny Mall Train Talk show is at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. So I want to say howdy to everybody. Let me get back over here. Alrighty. Let's see who all we got here. Well, we got a few people in the chat. We got Dwight, Mark, Steve, Ethanville, Brian, Dave, Robert, Railroad Video. How y'all doing? Yeah, we got over here in the panel, we got Mr. Jim. Looks like it'll be a little warmer there. You ain't got any sleeves on your shirt?
No, the sleeves go from very limited time as possible.
Yeah, we got Chris up here. How you doing, Chris?
Good, Johnny. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Greg, long time
How's it going,
no
see. Yeah, last night.
Yeah, almost 24. Well, a little over 24 hours. Yeah, Mr. Robert.
What's up, Johnny?
Sun's just now starting to go down for you, isn't it?
Yep. I got about half hour daylight left.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if oh shucks, I just had his name, Sam Cool. See if he makes it in, because I got a couple people here that might be able to help him out with Arduino controlling relays. Sparky, I think you know him. If you know Sam Cool, Sparky, if you could text him, let him know we're going. We're got a few people here that might be able to help him or put him in the right direction.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the kid that was just over in the general hangout. He took off for the night.
Oh, Sam Cool.
Yeah.
We got Cool Tropolis too now.
No, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Sam Cool.
Oh, okay. Well, I told him last night I was going to get some people come in tonight, so we'll see. Yes, Dwight. Jim does not have a hat on. Yeah, Sparky said don't call him a kid. He doesn't like that. Mr. Harry, how you doing? Young adult is the terminology these days. I think it is.
Don't worry. One day he's going to want to be called a kid.
Yeah. Speaking of young adults, how you doing, Josh?
We actually had a new person come into the
Problem.
I bet you his name was Sam Cool.
I don't know. It was Sam. I know that.
Do you know which way you're facing?
Towards the computer screen.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Oh, here's Sam Cool. Sam, you're the one asking about using Arduinos to control the relays, right? Yeah, we'll see if he answers. Joey, how's it going? I'll tell you what, Sam, since you got a webcam, if you want, you come on in here and jump in the panel with us. Be glad to have you. That way you can ask your questions directly. Mr. Joe, how you doing tonight? That's Central Jersey Conrail and N-Scale. By the way, Joe, if you get time sometime late tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night, if you can, give me a call. Alright, y'all gonna play musical cameras on me, huh?
Well, my mic stopped working, so.
Here come another.
I mean, plus you got to realize Robert and I are in the same room, so you know there's bound to be trouble.
It's true. It's true.
Well, you know.
Although we did a pretty successful show together, so there's that.
Yeah. Well, Lloyd's here now, so we'll let him referee.
Please don't.
Robert's
Pretty sure
the
that's an
winner.
automatic I win.
You know, Johnny, that's not fair to me because Robert pays Lloyd off, so.
Hey, for the Sam, look in your channel, your own channel's discussion page on your YouTube channel. I put the link to the live show in there.
Yeah, he
on your
said.
channel.
Yeah, he said he can't make it in. He's getting ready to go to bed. He's got an early day tomorrow. But anyway, Chris, what are your thoughts about using Arduino to control relays?
It's 100% possible. Lots of people do it for lots of different reasons. You just got to make sure that the relay can handle the voltage and the amperes that you're going to put through it. And you got to make sure that the relay can either operate at, if you're using a normal Arduino, 5 volts, or if you're using something else like a 3.3 volt board, that the relay can work with that logic signal. Some relay breakouts even come with opto couplers on them, so that it's even more isolated. But there's a lot of different options on Amazon or Banggood or AliExpress, eBay, that you can get relays from, and you can get them in solid state, normal relays. You just got to realize that a normal relay is going to be loud as it activates. So
Cornelius's hat. It really depends on what he wants to power. If it's for solenoids or things like that, I probably would go with, get a board that can be controlled by a bank of relays, because there's an inductor in that relay that can kick back and short out your Arduino. So if you get it's probably best to get the opto-coupled relay. They'll run with 2 separate power supplies, one just dedicated for powering the relays, and then the Arduino would use control logic to turn those things on and off.
yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest problem with putting a relay on there, is that inductive kickback. And if you don't build the circuit just right, you can nail your Arduino's output.
There's ones on eBay that are like a 16 gang board of relays, and I think it's like $16 or $17. So it's roughly about $1 a relay. I mean, you're not looking at breaking the bank.
No, but I would. That's probably the best way and the easiest way to do it. It's all pre-made. All you have to do is hook your pin up to the control point, and you're done.
I agree. Do we know what he's using the relay for?
All right, Sam. What do you want to use the relay for? I thought he said one time he's going to control turnouts.
Like in terms of what? Like throwing the turnout, or what?
Probably.
Here's what I know. He other than talking about his lift bridge, he was talking about his protection of the lift bridge. He was talking about using I think it was Bachman switch machines, and what else he was talking about? Yeah. And what else he was talking about? Yeah. And yeah.
So if a lift bridge, I assume he's going to be controlling some kind of motor. So I would just go with a control board that you can get that's fairly cheap for the relays. That's going to be the simplest and probably the most cost-effective way of doing it.
Yeah.
The biggest. Go ahead.
He's got down here. He just answered. He said, "I want to throw turnouts using my Pro Cab. Plan to use Walther's switch machines."
Hey, Johnny Red, can I chime in here?
Yeah.
Okay, I was on yesterday with the Arduino workshop, and I was the one that was talking about the Bachmans, because those switches use AC at the motor to switch the switch. And so what I had come up with using an Arduino was use the 5-volt logic out of the Arduino to connect to a relay that's 5-volt logic switched, but the contacts can go AC. So in my research, I came across a relay that looks like it'll do the job, and I was talking to Andy some on the chat line about this, and he's aware of these relays. They're made by Electronics Salon, and they can handle the voltage with no problem and the amperage. And what I decided to do was get a bank of 16 in a DIN rail container that I can then control from a central point, but the switches could be wherever on the layout. So I'm going to hold it up for you right now. This is what I bought.
Okay.
Yeah, those look like solid state.
Yeah, they're solid state relays.
Those are solid state. Right, and that's what I was chatting with Andy about yesterday. These are solid state relays. So the top connectors are where the Arduino 5-volt logic would come to each relay, and then the bottom screws are where the 12 volts AC will run from the relay out to the Bachman switch.
Okay, so you're running 12 volts AC. What's the amps on the switch machine?
Probably less than a half an amp would be my guess. I haven't measured it yet.
I was gonna say it would have to be minimum, and most of the relays I've come across work either both for DC and AC, and usually in the AC, it's a higher voltage than what we would probably ever use in model railroading. So
I don't have the listing. I bought these on Amazon. I don't have the listing in front of me. I think the relay is rated at 5 amps.
Yeah.
On the AC side.
What Sam said, he was going to use the Walther's switch machines, which I'm not too familiar with, but
sure. Yeah, you just have to do the research on it to figure out what relay will work best with your layout.
Yeah. Okay.
And prototyping is key too, like testing it.
Yeah, I bought like a 5 relay set, a much smaller set for my prototyping area. This is going to go on the main table.
Yeah. Okay.
He's modeling Union Pacific. Big boys.
Me.
Sam.
Me too.
Yeah. 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 Sam said that. Yeah, what we did is we have nightly chats every night, Sam. So, plus we do have our shows. We try to have at least 1 to 2 shows a week. The Thursday night shows every night, and then every other week we have either a Tuesday or a Wednesday show. So, And they have chats with them. The shows do. But yeah, Sam said he's going to use his Pro Cab for throwing the switches. But by the way, welcome to the panel, Bruce.
Well, thank you, sir.
Good to have you in here.
Okay.
So, Bruce, I would put a reversing diode probably across the inductor, because you're going to get some kickback from that probably also.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Hopefully it won't. I don't know how solid state switch will take that inductor kickback, but that's something you'll have to try.
Yeah, Cool Tropa says, we save the world every night in YTMB. Yeah, I don't know if I go quite that far, but yeah.
Let's see, are we hanging out in the same place?
Well, you're the new kid in here tonight, Bruce. You got a layout going now, or in the process, or?
I had a 10 by 12 in a bedroom, but one of my oldest kids had to move in for a while they changed homes. So I pulled everything out of the bedroom and put it in a much bigger loft space. So it's torn down right now, but this has given me an opportunity to work out all the Arduino stuff first before I try to put it into a new table setup.
Oh, okay. HO, I assume?
Yes, sir, HO. And I started off with the Bachmann Easy Track because it allowed me to prototype track plan layouts really, really quickly before I start using Flex Track and stuff like that. So I'm using the Easy Track stuff just as a test bed. And then everything that I finalize on the Easy Track setup is going to be put into modules, 6 foot by 3 foot modules using Flex Track and scenery and everything like that.
Oh, okay. That's just so if you need to move, it'll be easier to move it, or you going to plan on going to shows?
Well, that too, but primarily I'm in a loft for now, but I've got a 3-car garage that I'm going to probably move into with a much bigger layout.
Yeah.
And that way I can reuse the modules in a different space and they just build onto those modules.
Yeah, yeah.
Bruce, how much did that relay, the solid state relay system cost you, if you don't mind me asking?
I was going to pull up the order hang on one second, I'm going to pull up the order. That particular rate, I think, was $40.
How much?
I think it was $49.
Oh. That's what you get for. So I'm not saying WoW is expensive. I'm saying WoW because that's what it's amazing how the difference between the price on a solid state versus a normal relay.
Yeah.
It's going to be quiet.
Yeah. It's paying for the cost of quiet is.
Well, it sounds like that might be the way Sam needs to go. He just put a comment up here. I don't have the Pro Cab yet, but plan to get the 5 amp Pro Cab with a P515 outlet thingy and a 5 amp booster. I will have 33 turnouts, all of them able to throw from the Pro Cab. Is that okay?
Is the Pro Cab that one? Is the Pro Cab that one that looks like the diesel throttle?
Yeah.
Okay.
First
of all,
if you're not locked into NCE yet, I would seriously consider the DCC++ system, which we've done videos on already.
Not only that, so, not only that is now it comes down. Okay, you kind of have an idea how you want to throw the switches, or the hardware, anyways. But now you got to think about, well, how are you going to make the Pro Cab talk to those switches?
Exactly.
Because now you got to either say, okay, well, I'm gonna put an Arduino at every an Arduino Nano at every relay, and I'm gonna use DCC and pipe it into it, make an accessory decoder, or which can be done, or are you going to build a hybrid system with JMRI or something to throw the switch so the DCC signal comes in, another type of communication goes out to flip the switch? So that's the next hurdle.
So this module costs $79 at Amazon, and I think one reason of the higher cost is because it's in this DIN rail carrier pack.
Yeah.
So it'll mount on a DIN rail. You can put it under a table or on the side or something like that. These DIN carriers are not cheap. The blank check carrier could cost you $15. And the other thing too, guys, these relays are replaceable. We give you a puller to pull the relay out and put it in a fresh relay if you burn one out for some reason. And the contacts are rated at 5 amps at 250 volts AC.
Oh, then you probably don't need that diode in there then.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was going to do it just for safety.
Yeah. I'm not sure, with the collapsing of that field, how that's going to work. So have to check it out.
But I'm only doing 12 volts AC instead of like 125 volts. So
yeah.
I thought that the collapse would be minimal.
That's strange that Bachmann makes their switch machines run AC power for.
Yeah.
Like, I do 3-row scale, so like my trains actually run on AC power. Well, we use AC power to get the power to the train, but it's very strange for something out of that realm to be using AC nowadays.
Yeah, it's a holdout from the old AC ancestry.
Yeah, because the Bachmann comes with just a standard power pack. It doesn't come with any DCC stuff. You have to buy their DCC stuff separate.
I would think if you're going to have that many switch machines, I think I'd go servo. If you don't have all of them, and interface it with the DCC plus.
I do have all the switches. It just gave me an opportunity to integrate Arduino capabilities into an older switched environment. And right now I'm having to run around changing the switches by hand because I didn't want to wire up all the AC connections. And when I started realizing what Arduino could do for me by a centralized switching location, I just hit a button, or I'm going to try and even elevate it up to an LCD display with soft buttons on an LCD display. And when I hit the soft button, it's going to cause Arduino to send a signal to a relay. The relay is going to switch the 12 volts AC to the switch machine and change out the switch for me.
I was thinking more for Samuel's question, being he said he had like 33 switches he was going to be doing and not really having an interface for it yet.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many I got. I probably have at least 20 to 25.
I agree with Greg on the servos, because you can buy servos in bulk pretty cheap from China. And even if one or two don't work, you're still ahead of the game as far as cost is concerned.
Well, I think we at least gave Sam something to think about.
But yeah, there's so many different ways to go.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron.
I mean, I'm going to use the wireless stuff to control my turnouts.
And if Greg might agree with me on this too, is you can also, depending on what your switch machines or like the voltage and the amperes are using, you can also use a transistor, I believe, too, instead of a relay.
That was mentioned last night in the show about using transistors.
Yeah.
Could do a transistor, probably a power MOSFET.
Yeah.
And channel MOSFET, probably better. You could higher current ratings through that. That would be another option, but it's a bunch of discrete components. It's probably simpler to go with the relay.
Yeah. Just throwing out options.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, because I'm not sure about how much he really wants to get into the electronics part anyway at this stage of the game.
Well, he's going to get in the electronics part, especially if he's going to use DCC to throw the turnouts. It's plain and simple, because that circuit has to get built. You could buy, if you're going to use a Arduino Uno or Mega, IO skill engineers make a DCC shield, but you're going to pay money for it. You're going to pay about at least $30-40 for that shield, I believe. And it's if you're okay with soldering and a few components, you can solder something up yourself on a proto board and be done with it.
Yeah.
I'm working on a servo controller right now, so maybe in one of the Arduino shows we can show that. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Yeah, I think Chris likes having you in the show anyway.
Yep. If you guys missed it, that fast clock last night was pretty fun. You should go watch the replay.
Yeah. Yeah, at the beginning of the show, he's giving out all them parts. I'd ordered everything when they posted the parts list. Then he comes up and goes, "Oh yeah, you need these 2 resistors and these 2 capacitors." I went, "Man, come on now."
You know, I built it. I don't have those in there.
Yeah.
They're just for the debounce. So, I mean, it will work without them. You might have to bounce back and forth or turn the rotary switch one more click to get it, but
yeah,
it works.
Yeah, I figured I'd probably try to build a thing, and then, next time I place an order somewhere, so I'll try and remember get those capacitors, and I'll just solder them in on the rotary encoder, like he did his.
Oh, one thing we did find out last night after the show, that one of the libraries was the wrong library. So if you downloaded the Liquid Crystal last night during the show, you'll want to go back up to his webpage and download the correct library. Somehow when he uploaded the page, it changed to a different one. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sparky was just telling Sam, start small, get your layout built. You can move on from there. Many ways to do it, from simple hand throws all the way to computer control. Yeah, since Sam's talking about, he's got 33 turnouts on that layout.
Keep up, mentor, Rob.
John's layout, the guy that I'm helping out, his layout's a 10 by 26 and a half feet, and he's got almost 40 turnouts on it. But it's a pretty good size switching layout with a full pass-through yard. That's the reason why he's got so many turnouts. He's got a pass-through yard on the thing. It's got like 5 turnouts on it. I mean 5 tracks, plus some other tracks for cabooses, engines.
Gentlemen.
Ralph, how you doing?
Hello, Ralph.
Dwight says hi, Ralph.
Oh, Hey, Dwight. How's it going, buddy? How are you?
Railroad video. All right, someone has to ask, what's new on Josh's 3-rail layout?
Okay.
That went another hour.
Wow.
Actually, I haven't done too much other than buy. Really, not much has happened since the last time I talked, other than just we're waiting for some stuff that I needed to buy. I was waiting for the swap meet to come around up here down in Salem. Pretty much in Salem, Ohio, we had a swap meet last weekend. My club always had their module laid up. I found the stuff I needed, and I bought it. And last week my mom was out of town. This week my dad's out of town. And the week before that week, John was sick, and then I was sick before that. And nothing really got anything done down here, actually, for the last couple days, for a couple weeks. So it's really me just showing up and running trains. I really haven't got anything done other than buying the parts to finish up this part of the project. Hold on.
Sam Cool said that his layout's 17 feet by 11.6. Bigger than it looked on the diagram. It usually is.
Put them.
Well, guys, I gotta bail. I'm sorry to leave early, but you guys have a good night, okay?
I appreciate you coming in, Chris, and helping out with that.
No problem, John. You keep that paycheck coming.
Hi, Chris.
Good to see you, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't know where I put it.
All right.
So I do have a question for Ralph. Whenever I can get this page to load.
Hey, before you ask that question, Josh, I'm gonna duck in here. I'm gonna step out too, guys. I got an early morning also.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Jim. It was good seeing you again.
Good seeing you.
At least now we know you got arms.
I do, and I also still I do.
Still has some hair too.
Top of my head and hair.
Yeah. You need a haircut, hippie.
Yeah. I got a little rooster tail action going on back here. All right, guys. Good night.
All right. See you, Jim.
Good night.
Let's see. Let me get back up here.
Load.
What are you screen sharing, Josh?
Yeah. What are you screen sharing? Is it a video?
No, picture. I got a question for Lloyd. What paint? What color paint would you use to do this?
Green.
Is there a certain shade you would do doing different stuff?
Olive drab.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Okay. That's all I needed.
If you can find it in a semi-gloss, don't buy it in a flat. Or if you do buy it in a flat, get a semi-gloss coat to put on top of it, because flat's going to be too flat.
Olive drab is going to be a flat collar usually, isn't it?
Sometimes.
It's a camouflage collar, so.
I want to paint this.
Yeah, I'll probably have to look at the hobby shop in the military maulers paint section.
It probably won't say olive drab on it either. It'll probably just say OD.
Yeah.
No, they usually have olive drab, depending on the manufacturer.
Yeah. I got a question here from.
Hey, there's Andy.
Yeah. All right, Josh.
I am. I'm closing it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got a question here from Matt. How you doing, Matt? Hadn't seen you in a while. What is the easiest way to attach knee worm couplers?
On
Matt?
what locomotive and where are you attaching it?
Yeah, I was fixing to say, Matt, you're going to have to give us a little more specifics on that. Buddy was asking, what is under Josh's 3-rail track, foam board or plywood, Josh?
Foam.
Okay.
Sure, certainly looks like plywood to me.
Nope, it's foam and then plywood. See? You can see it down here. Where I cut it out a little bit.
Can't see a thing.
I can see your floor tiles.
Sorry. Camera ain't different. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
See, that's what I have foam first, then the crack, then the plywood. So, yep, this is going to be a water area. That's why it's cut out. Is Wayne back? He was doing this a little earlier.
All right, Matt said it's the worm gear for the drive shaft.
Ooh.
What kind of locomotive did he say? Is it an Atherd?
He didn't say.
If it's Atherd worm drives, you can either buy replacement parts to fix them from them, but they make a remotor kit for those things. If it's a little bit older model, they make a remotor kit for them from Atherd. It's a spectacular product, and I wouldn't say that you can get a better motor out there than that, but it's a lot of trouble for a little bit better. That Atherd kit is pretty spectacular.
Ethan Vilbro is asking me what type of the best technique for getting truly grayish rock for a rock scene. Interesting. How gray are we talking?
If you're trying to get single color, that's pretty easy. Diversity of colors takes some art ability.
Is that the kind of gray you're looking for? If it's that kind of gray, I would go to your paint supply store, your house paint supply store, and get some great paint chips. Bring them home, decide which one you want to use, and then you can get sample bottles of paint. And with the sample bottles of paint, they'll cost you about $4 or $5, which is no great loss. And then once you got the sample, you paint it on your plaster. But the way I do it is I paint it black first, or a very dark color first, and then put the gray on, and then I dry brush a little bit of white highlight. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, because Ethanville said northern, then he said yes. Gold Metropolis, Small Railroad said slate. Yeah, Ethan said North American gray.
Okay.
Which I guess about what you got.
The thing is, you want to stay away from dark, because if you go too dark, your whole layout looks dark, and that's not what you want to do. The rock color in real life does not scale down properly, and if you saw red granite, I wouldn't even try and model red granite because it'll look pukey on your layout.
Remember, you have to model the sunlight with the paint. So it's not, you can't just take paint samples and hold them up to a rock. You can look at a picture and see what the sunlight does to it.
But that's why I said take some of those, get some of those bottles of paint.
Yep.
They're tiny bottles, and they're good sample bottles. Where the hell did they go? This is a Benjamin Moore product. In these little bottles, and you can paint a big area with this. This particular one is called Sweatshirt Gray. And that's what I used up there. And then you just, with a dry brush and some white paint, you just add white on the highlights, on the high points, so that it enhances the gray, like sunlight would do.
I like to start real light and then wash it with a real thin solution of India ink. Thin enough that it makes very little difference at a time, but I can do it several times and then come back and do the highlights. That way it can get in the crevices, but also it gives you some mottled look to the gray, so it's not all.
And see, you're doing it the reverse of me. You're doing your crevices
right.
Dark afterwards.
Right.
I do dark base first, and put my gray on and not worry about getting it into the crevices.
I just like what the India ink does, even on the surfaces, just in giving some variation.
Written dye is pretty good too, and quite strong. So that's I don't know if I don't like it better than. And I've got India ink. I use it on all kinds of stuff, but especially woods. But
if you're going to do that with Rit dye, I would suggest you stay away from it because it'll dye everything it touches.
Yeah,
even the floor. An easier product to use is tempera powders.
Yeah, I like that approach too.
Yeah,
seen that. I haven't done it yet.
Curtis wanted to know, is that flat paint?
This is household paint. It's called eggshell paint. Interior acrylic latex.
So it's probably a semi-gloss then.
Semi-gloss.
Eggshell's a little flatter than satin.
Yes.
Between satin and flat. It's almost flat. Yeah. And flat or eggshell would work fine. It wouldn't make much difference. I would stay away from a semi-gloss or a gloss for doing rock work. Try to dull coat that back down would be.
Yeah.
Rocks aren't shiny much. I mean, I never see modelers, or I very rarely see modelers do like what the professor did. Modeler he built a layout, Brooklyn 3 AM, and it's modeled at night in Brooklyn at 3 AM, obviously, and it's rated. Yeah. So he gloss coated everything, which is spectacular. But most of us don't go for that approach.
So once you decide on the colors you want, then you can get it in the pint can. It's almost 500 mil, 465 mil. It's a little bit bigger than a pint. I got two grays. I don't know whether you can see the two colors there.
Somewhat.
So I put the dark one on first, then put this one on, and then put white on top of this one. But I even start with a dark brown.
Yeah. Matt said that this is on the worm gear. It's a new motor for an Athearn Blue Box GP7. All new parts, just trying to get the worm gear coupler on without breaking it, so I can install the new drive shafts.
Oh, he's just putting them on, I guess, where that little coupling in there where they push together. I don't have one here.
That is hang on. There's a little cover on top of the truck. The worm gear is right on top of the truck, inside this black case, and it's just a plastic cover. All you need is a screwdriver, and it'll pry off. You get your worm gear out, and then there's a universal that joins the shaft of the motor, which over here. This is an Athearn ready to roll.
All right, Zane, hope your grandmother does okay. He's just leaving. He's got to get up, go see his grandmother tomorrow. She's in the hospital. Let's see. All right, here's one for you, Sam, again. How do you find the radius you want when laying flex track? How do you know it's right?
Need a travel. So there's a couple tricks. Those little track gauges that you could buy at label to the rails that have some distance, or like the speed stick from Fast Track, those are spectacular. They're a great tool to have in your arsenal. But you might have to do it with a travel too. Like the best travels, well, for most air purposes, would you put on a piece of PVC pipe.
For fear of it sounding like a shameless plug, I did a whole video on laying out curves and transition curves and easements on my channel. If you want to go check it out, Sam, it was back probably 6 months ago, but literally the title is laying out curves and easements.
You did a good job of it too.
I second that.
Yep.
And there's all kinds of math you can do, and I'm a logical guy.
Hey, let me say this. If you watch it, ignore the math in the video. Follow the link to the correction video where I did the math the right way. The link is right in there. It's in an iCard, so follow it. I forgot to divide by 2 the first time.
Here's another device you can use. These two pieces are designed to go onto a yardstick.
It's a travel.
So I cut a piece of wood in the shop, and I've got my graduations marked at what radius I want. Put it out to where I want it. You plug it in, and you do your radius.
Yeah. Who's got the dog barking?
It's probably mine. I'll mute up here.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that I've done is I'll make a cardboard template after I do this, the size, so I can reuse it instead of having to measure it every time. The cardboard template, one side of it will be one center radius, and the other, I make them about the spacing of, what do you call it, 2 main line? What is that, 2 1/4 inches, roughly, in HO?
Yeah.
So I make the spacing 2 1/4 inches difference. So one is the shorter radius than the other. And that's all I use once I set it up with this.
Here's the poor man's free version, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I got a pivot hole here that perfectly fits just a drywall screw, and then my radiuses I use all the time, I got holes at 16, 18, and 20 inches. I just literally could plop this down, stick a pencil in it, draw it right out.
Yep.
That's
cost me a trip to the garage to pick up a scrap of wood.
That's what I did too. I just drilled holes through, took a dribble, drilled holes through an aluminum wood. I didn't like the wood very well, but I just drilled a bunch of little holes through it with a dribble that a pencil will go through.
Got a question from Howie Mann. On a layout with outside curve, how do you lay out a curve when it's along the wall?
Get you a tripod. Oh, along the wall.
Yeah, you've got to lay out pieces. Is what Ralph was saying. Cut you a cardboard template. That way you don't have to have anything inside of it. That or the quick sticks from Fast Tracks. They're good too, but cardboard does the trick. And I laid all mine out with paper, and I cut the paper out, cut the brown paper. I had little paper templates for everything. But the last statement I want to make sure somebody mentions for sure on this: easements are definitely your friend. If you have to sacrifice a little bit of curve radius, not always, but until you get down into the sub 24-inch radiuses, always sacrifice a little radius to get easements. It makes a tremendous difference.
Trains will look so much better running around the curves.
Yeah, man,
and they'll run better going around the curves.
But without easements, and especially if your curves are anywhere close to sharp, 22, 24-inch radius or whatever, sharp, trains look darty, like a Lionel train set on the floor on a little circle. They look like they're darting around. Easements slows all that movement down, and that's the difference. A lot of times, if you're watching videos of nicer layouts and why everything looks like it flows, like on the La Mesa Club or one of those, easements are the biggest reason for that, not radius.
There's the Fast Tracks one. This is a straight one. You get these in any radius you want. They mesh together. I have these glued together. There's two pieces there. You can see the join. And you can put as many in line as you want. You want to put a curve on there as well. And then that's the spacing of your rails right there.
Yep.
Yeah, those snap right in.
It slides right into the rail.
Yeah.
And they give you the little spaces here so that if you want to tack things down in the meantime, you can. There's an aluminum one. This is meant for N scale. This is 15 inches. So that's the kind of thing that you can, and making a cardboard template, something like this, with your cardboard template, you draw a center line and you mount your track on the center line. Same with these things.
Yeah, I've got the Fast Tracks, those woo ones like you got there, Ralph. I like those because they go right in between the rails. You get a nice clean curve out of it.
Well, these go between the rails as well, the aluminum ones.
Yeah.
And I have them for HO as well. I just can't find them right now. I don't know why I have the N scale one out.
But a lot of the modular guys use the straight ones to help us, depending on how their modules couple together, put them in there and adjust the rails at the ends of the module so they have perfect alignment. It's a good tool to have in your arsenal anyway, and especially dealing with the joints on a curve track. You can keep both rails perfectly parallel. You can get everything glued down, spike. Yeah, I prefer to spike around rail joiners, even on curves, because there's not some ties there, or solder your joints. You put the wood in there and solder too if you did it pretty fast, but the aluminum's really good if you want to stick it in there and then solder the outsides of your rails while you have the aluminum in there, since it works like heat sink.
All right. Yeah, Sam said that sounds great. Use the template. Yep. James here. Yeah. I want to demolish some radio cell towers. What size wood dials should I use? Ethanville said small, LOL.
In what scale?
I believe James SHO, I think.
Yeah, most so most cell towers that are multi-bar, 3-bar, tri-bar, or quad-bar, or with tie-downs, those are big assemblies, and you're better to buy one made of. There's one out there made in etched brass, and there's one made by somebody. See, it might have been made by Vector Cut. They quit producing, but it was made by somebody etched wood or etched pasteboard.
Are we modeling current, like 2018 or
right? That
1995. There's a big difference. The one Andy was just talking about with the web in it is early model. The ones they do now are round columns.
Yeah.
Or hexagonal columns, and they're tall, and you got all the heads around the top.
Yeah, and you got to model the little sector antenna, so they on each side of nowadays. So you have to have a frame up top, and you have to build 3 sectors that go this way and 3 this way. There'll be 12 around, at least 12, and in big populated areas, I don't know how many they put on there, 24, 48 sectors. I mean, they'll cover a lot of area with them. So, but there's kits out there for that. Actually, you might want to read. Lee Boekler has some pretty nice kits for a modern cell tower that he found somewhere. So if anybody in the community ought to message him or something, he'd probably help you out with where who the manufacturer of those was.
Who's that? MHB Podnik or whatever. He's asking about installing a Mishima CAN motor in an Athearn GP40 blue box.
Yeah, that's Matt.
Okay, Matt. Okay, so he's asking about putting the motor. It doesn't fit, even with the motor mounts. Is there different? I've actually put new motors in and threw the motor mounts away, and I mounted it in bathtub silicone.
Wow. Yeah.
And if you ever have to make any alterations to the motor, you can cut the silicone out. That's Blue Box.
Yeah, I've made them before out of styrene. Make a little frame that would just sit just inside the cab walls and have a couple of holes through it. The motor slip through, glue it together, done it that way. And we casted a set when I worked at the hobby shop. When I was young, the guys there, we casted some out of aluminite. I had the mounts, and we just glued enough styrene on until it was the right size, and then cast it out of aluminite. And you could buy like a aluminite casting kit for like $15 at Hobby Lobby. It's real easy. You don't need vacuum or any crazy machines, just so you can make them out.
I don't remember who it is, but my hands are full. Somebody just asked about what was needed for fast tracks to build turnouts. You need a jig.
Oh. Yeah, you need a fixture.
Fixture. This is
the thing that cuts your points is a jig.
Yeah, this right here is a number 6. It'll do a left and a right. It's machined for the rails. It's machined for your PC ties that you solder the rails to. Then you got the jig.
Right on, John.
This one is for the number 6. You put the rail in on this end, and that's for the frogs. File the angle of the frogs. I don't think it'll show up, but they'll poke out here, and you just file it down until it's smooth with the jig. It'll give you your points. You come in on the other end, and it'll do the frog when you put it in the other way, and you file them down. These fixtures are machined for micro-engineering rail. So if you're going to use a different kind of rail, I would contact Fast Tracks, tell them what rail you're using, because rails with manufacturers, or the base of it, is different sizes. And
you have to know the code, because each one is slightly different.
Yeah, well, the manufacturer's base, even if you got the same code, 83 or 100, the manufacturer's base is different. So you'd have to inform Fast Tracks as to what manufactured rail you're using. Now, some people say that this is for code 100, that you can do code 83. No, you cannot. It will not work. The base on code 83 is, I think it's 11 thousandths smaller. So that means the rail will flop around, you'll never get engaged. But Fast Tracks does have kits. You can order the kits, got everything in there you need, and they even include enough rail to make 5 turnouts.
Rail and wood ties, the quick sticks.
Yeah,
to make 5
they
turnouts.
Include the quick sticks. Because with that, you just using the PC ties to hold everything together. Then you can buy the quick sticks if you want. Makes life a lot easier. You put the contact cement on the wood ties, and then on the bottom of the rail, lay them down on there, put a little pressure on it for about an hour, and they're down. You can use a soldering iron, heat the rail up a little bit, and that makes it adhere a little quicker. And a lot of people like to just put their own ties down individually.
I was going to ask you that. How much difference in effort do you think there is between the quick sticks and individual ties if you stuck them on a paper turnout template? If you done something like that, how much harder is that than the quick sticks?
Different in
the same.
In what?
It's about the same, because as long as you got the wood ties down in place where they won't move, all you gotta do is put your glue on there and then lay it down, and that's it.
Yeah, but Johnny, the difference in time with individual ties, you have to set them up perfectly.
Yeah.
To match with the Fast Tracks. So all that time it takes you to set them up on a piece of tape or whatever it is you put them on,
Yeah.
is with the fast tracks. It's already in place. It's already on a board that the sides rip off or snap off, and you have the ties connected to your rail.
Yeah, see, I've got jigs for doing tie alignment too. I was trying to find where I got one there. I have jigs for doing tie alignment, so if a person did that, I like to look at the individual ties. I just wondered how much effort were you saving by paying for the quick sticks, which are, in my opinion, a little pricey. The turnouts are spectacular. I am an absolute advocate for fast track style turnout construction completely. The quick sticks just dull that argument a little bit when they take it, when they raise the price of the turnouts $6 or something a turnout. I can buy 1,000 ties. I can do enough ties for, I don't know, 40 or 50 turnouts for $20.
Sam's put up here, that was Sam asking. He said, I meant just for the ties. I don't need a jig. A guy offered to make me the turnouts as long as I bought the ties. What ties do I need? Well, that depends on the turnouts, Sam. You can go to Fast Tracks if he's making you number 6s, number 5s, 8s, 10s. They got them all right there, pre-made.
He sells the quick sticks that'll match the turnout, or the other side of his business, which is Mount Albert Lumber, he can sell you a bag of ties.
Yep.
The biggest advantage with most things that most people who are fans of DIY, whether that's turnouts or Arduinos, whatever, or computer stuff when they run Linux, whatever, the biggest advantage that anybody could ever tell you is choice. So there's 10,000 ways to do it. If you buy a microengineering turnout, there's one way to put it down. It's a good turnout, but there's one way to do it. But you had like try 20 decisions.
Sam, okay, he said number 6. Just go to Fast Track's website, and they're quick sticks, right, Ralph?
Yep.
And scroll down on the left there, and
let me see if I can
click
bring it
on
up.
quick sticks, and then click on the size you want. If you buy more than 15, you get a little bit of a discount.
So number 6 HO is what we're talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, Josh. He's already gone. And James was actually asking about the diameter, I guess, of the poles for cell towers and all, not the height.
A lot of the new ones, unless they've got a whole lot on them, I'm pretty sure. I think those poles are about 8 inches round, but I know they go up significantly. I've seen some of these large ones coming into a city or something, and they're probably 2 foot diameter. So the one that's down here close to the house is no more than about 8 inches.
Oh, the one near me, it's got to be about 4 foot in diameter.
Yeah, they've got very variable. If you're, but there's
a lot of stuff on the top of it though.
Yeah, that's right. But it can't be bigger than 8 inches. But it's guy wired too. It's not freestanding.
Oh no, the ones that are around me are freestanding.
Yeah, they have the slope on them that have the mushroom base. That's the newest ones. They're spectacular. I haven't seen a kit for those.
So there's you get drilled or non-drilled quick sticks. Come on. And that's the way they look. So those gaps that are in this are for where your copper ties are, your PC ties. When it's all glued in place, this solid wood piece breaks off and leaves the wood ties behind. Here's a little closer picture of it. So you can see there. Come on now, stop. There.
Hey Johnny, I'm gonna say goodnight to all.
Hi, Greg. Appreciate it.
You guys have a good evening.
Yeah, you have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So if you're going to look up fast tracks, you'll have to Google it or type in handlaidtrack.com. Handlaid track, all one word.
I always buy those in quantities of 20, so they're $6.60 for me.
Yeah. And
anything over $100, you get free shipping.
Did he say number 5 or number 6?
6.
Number 6. Number 6 is $735 US.
Yeah.
Right now he has none in stock, but that doesn't mean a thing because he cuts them on site. He's got the laser machines on site.
He don't keep them in stock anymore. He just when you order them, he cuts them right then.
Yep.
I usually I can call him up, tell him I need 20, 25, and I've got them within a week. It only takes him about a day and a half to cut that many.
Short of putting all the detail that Andy wants to put on his turnouts and track, the nearest thing to perfection is fast tracks.
Yeah.
Add fast tracks turnouts on Central Valley ties, and it's the 90-10 rule. You are 90% the way there. The extra 10% is much harder. Or you add a little bit more, buy the microengineering plastic turnout detail kit, put it on your fast tracks, put on Central Valley ties, and that's what Joe Fugate does. He
microengineering ties.
I'm sorry, Central Valley ties. Central Valley tie strips. You can buy the turnout tie strips that has the tie plates on it. It's just the plate. It's just like your quick stick, but it's plastic. Looks like Flex Track. So if you're using Flex Track, it's Flex Track ties, turnout ties in a strip, and you can buy those. Now you've got to be, they do not make them in all the variety of sizes that.
Of course not. And they're not made to Fast Track's specifications. So you're going to have to bastardize it to get it to fit.
Well, you spread them out. They're not that much different. I mean, it's number 6 turnout to number 6 turnout. Pretty close. I mean, you can push it around a little bit, and that's what Joe Fugate was doing. He even wrote an article some time ago about how he did his turnouts, and he said he buys a Central Valley tie strip and sacrifices it and builds a turnout right on top of it, basically, and then takes it off that strip and puts it on a real strip, that he's going to put down on his lap because it gets burnt. And you could use one of the nylon strips for, 10 turnouts or something, then you throw it away. And they're a couple dollars a strip. You buy like 3 of them in a pack for $8 or $9, and they have tie strips on them. And you can get a pretty good long
doing soldering. You talking about doing soldering on the plastic ties?
I'm not. I wouldn't do that. I'm just saying that's what Joe Fugate.
That's what you're talking about, right?
I said that's how Joe Fugate wrote an article on. That's how he does his.
So you're not saying to do this on plastic ties.
I would do it. I would do it. Joe Fugate wrote an article on how that could be done. However, I personally, or my augmentation of his idea, that's where my thought process started on this. My augmentation of his idea is build the thing on a fast tracks turnout or on a paper template like we used to do for 80 years in the hobby. Just build the turnout separate and set it on Central Valley tie strips. So if you're using Flex Track, all your ties and detail, bolt detail, tie plate detail is all consistent through the entire layout. It's plastic ties, tie strips. Spray bomb it after you got it, put it down. And if you want to go a little step further, you can buy the microengineering detail parts and put the brace, tie plates, stuff like that. And you don't even have to go crazy. That's easy peasy work. Now, you go to doing all the etched detail parts I'm doing, that's for insane people, and there will be a time later in life I'll need medication because of this, but it does look good.
All right,
it's not...
Get it, not us, Andy.
All right, Sam has got up here, he's asking, are the turnouts DCC friendly?
If you cut them.
Yes, they are. Absolutely.
You make them DCC friendly.
Yeah,
you just have to cut them. Way.
Yeah.
Can't make them any other way.
You will cut the frogs, isolate the frog out. You may, on short engines, you may have to put a polarity wire on the frog just to get the short engines to go through. Let's see, there's one other thing here. Sam also said he heard not nice things from Micro Mart turnouts. What do you guys think of them? I can't say, never used Micro Mart turnouts. I just use nothing but Fast Tracks and build my own. I'm probably up to about 85 turnouts now.
If I was gonna
buy a turnout, I would buy Pico or the top of the line Atlas.
I don't like the Atlas. I like micro engineering turnouts, and I think Pico turnouts are mechanically spectacular, but cosmetically they're not up to par with the M8s or the micro engineerings or the Shinoharas for that matter. Shinoharas look great, but they require some work to make them track well. I can't get over those stamped points in an Atlas. I just cannot forgive that. That's an unforgivable sin.
You haven't seen the high-end Atlas switches then?
Are you talking about the lines?
Well, the brown tie Code 83 was the ones I've always remembered all my life using them. I've used a whole bunch of Atlas turnouts. Most of the years of my modeling career, I used Atlas turnouts. Yes, those stamped 10 points.
Yeah, they're right there. Right there.
That's a custom line number 6.
Yeah, but it's a stamped 10. It's not a piece. It's not coil, or what do you call that? The way that steel process that makes rail is the folded.
They're not stamped 10 either, Andy. They're solid. They're a solid piece of rail. It's just that I don't like the where the point attaches.
Yep.
It's got a little lip on the side of them. They're solid. They're a solid piece of rail.
You're thinking of the medium quality ones.
Probably.
The ones that have the plastic frog.
No,
these ones here have a metal frog.
I don't like that. Plus, the frog on the flangeway is not deep enough. The train actually raises up as it goes through the frog.
Well, you have to hang on a second. The new wheels on all the locomotives that are coming out from all the manufacturers will track over it properly. Sure. It's the old flanges on the old engines and cars that are too big.
Some of my cars are the new cars, and they still raise up as they come through that frog. You see them raise up just a little bit. It's not as bad as what some of the old Tyco wheel sets do, but they still come up. That flangeway is just a hair too not deep enough.
I got something here real quick from Ron Down Under. This is for you, Andy.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, you don't have to. He says
we'll do it for him.
He says, don't worry, Andy. We got the white jacket and the padded cell already booked for you when we need it.
That's right. Yeah, Australia is where we all go when we get crazy. Well, yeah, Australia is definitely the place for crazy model railroaders. They're building railroads in shoeboxes or with wooden rail. So yeah, you guys can firmly hold the title. I mean, I've done a few crazy things, but wood rail and like the Prof did on his with that. That's some pretty out there modeling. Yeah. Good stuff.
Sam, best thing for you to do is go to Fast Tracks, go down, scroll down on the left-hand side. They got the how-tos down there on their different turnouts and all, and you can see how to do a double slip.
Also, the paper templates, the PDFs are there.
Yeah.
To download.
And you can build about any turnout on a paper template. That's what we, for 70, 80 years in the hobby, all we ever used was paper templates, hand laying turnouts. It's just going to slow you down. The thing makes it a lot faster.
Well, all he wanted to know was how do you wire a double slip for switch machines. So he just needs to go read the instruction manual for the double slip because they'll tell him there how to do it.
Yeah.
And gives him a diagram too.
Something else you can do with the Fast Tracks templates is you can print them out and glue them to a piece of cardboard or something, and they actually give you it makes a template for laying out your layout. So you lay a switch out and lay it down on your layout, see if that switch is going to work in that position for you. At least that's what I do.
I designed my whole layout with a bunch of paper, turnout templates on brown paper, and laid the floor with flex track and Smurf tube electrical conduit. Designed the whole layout. I had a rough idea, but I laid it all out, and it's built exactly wherever the plastic tube laid at. So it made my easements for me and everything. Which is not that dissimilar to how the way the prototype would have laid a lot of that stuff out too. If you've ever been to Appalachia, it's pretty much like, you know, they smacked their old adage was somebody smacked a goat on the butt wherever the goat went, that's where they paid. That's how the roads are. So
that's how they build the roads here.
Yeah.
It's still do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now the railroads, of course, are obviously slightly straighter, but they're still so laying it out like that is mine's a lot more random than most of the track plans that I see. There's a lot of track, straight track, and even on the prototype, I lived in Albuquerque and it was flat, and the track would drift along back and forth. You know, track is not much. You know, unless you're going across the salt flats, track's not straight a lot for too terribly long. It's out in the desert, it's straight-ish, like for like thousands of miles, 1,000+ miles. But what Appalachia, man, a straight section of track's a little rare. Normally, the straight section that sticks up in there.
Well, boys and girls, as some say. Sam, since you're still here, on the recorded video, if you look in the description, Bruce gave me a link to a tutorial on Arduinos and controlling high voltage devices. He said that'll probably be a big help for you, so you can later on go back to the recorded show and pick up that link and go watch the tutorials on that. I'm sure it'll be very helpful to you. And we've done reached an hour and 19 minutes. So, anybody got last words? You only get 1 minute.
Don't be afraid to come join us in the after show.
Yeah.
Last word.
Lloyd.
Rosebud.
Curtis.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah. Curtis says, Andy, they just used a wider roll of brown paper on the real ones.
Yeah, I think it would be slightly.
Yeah.
Not that dissimilar back in the day. I mean,
was it wrapping paper or was it butcher paper?
I use shit. Well, I don't know what they use back then. Shipping papers, or I use actually a lot of these. Norfolk Western Historic Society has some of the original cotton track. I don't know if they're cotton. They're printed on cloth. They did the design on it's like somebody sat down on a tablecloth with drafting tools and drafted it on a tablecloth. They've got some of those original ones from 1840, something like that.
It's called vellum. It's like a linen.
Well, I've done vellum paper, but it feels like transfer paper, kind of the onion skin style paper. But these are closer to a tablecloth.
This is like linen.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Sam. The after show is where you were at before this show started. It's the appear.in/YTMB, not YNTB, but YouTube Mall Builders.
Spelled out.
Yeah, spelled out. That's one you were in previously to this show. That's what they call the after show. It's our nightly room that we go to. So come on, join us back in there if you want to. All right, so we'll wind this thing on down. Let me go over here and do my transition thing and all. All right, well, let everybody know that all shows we do are recorded, so If you didn't catch the whole show or didn't catch it at all because you're at work or whatever, you can go back to YouTube Mile Builders on YouTube. And we do have playlists where you can find all of our shows and be able to watch them again, however many times you want, because they are free. But also go to YouTubeMileBuilders.com. There you can check schedules for our Tuesday and Wednesday shows. Those are at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The Thursday show is also 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And let me get the schedule book out and see what the next show is going to be next week. All right, next Wednesday we got Into the Locomotive Shop with Joe Desmond and Big Bill. So, and then on Thursday we got the Johnny Mall Train Talk Show. So we shall see you next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Everybody have a good night and a good weekend. And we'll see you later.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, John.